Silent John incremental, another silent instrumental, the nerd rap existential. People compare me to MC Christopher a lot, but the fact is I predict it with significance. I'm the oldest geek rapper by far, save K&R, compiling kernels, open bracket, causing racket. And my teen nerds throw your laser pen in the air and wave it all around like you had no repercussions. Now follow instructions, Professor. Why these discussions consist of nothing but incoherent rambling and babbling, but you just still take notes cause you never know what's happening. I'll drop a little nugget, a tidbit if you will. There were 4 United States presidents named Bill. Really? If you run out of hit points, the game will shout.
Your life force is running out.
If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life. If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life. If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life. If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life, yeah. Let me start again, put it on like a cardigan, swinging like my name was Mad Mardigan, which reminds me, Warwick Davis was Willow and a Ewok, Leonard Nimoy was Galvatron and Spock. That ain't typecast, I don't know what it. Talk about predestiny, nobody gets the best of me. I've only played one role my whole lifetime, the nerd lifeline, stream through a wicked pipeline. So no one can bite mine, cause mine is original and I write rhymes to burn on a CD, play in the mini V. Soccer mom, yodel back, yodel at little me. I got a sidekick, I gotta stay connected. Watch out for my decom or you'll get infected. And you don't wanna be one of my bots, cause I see it all like Sauron the Cyclops. And I won't hesitate to drop your whole net block if you're acting up and you're dumber than a pet rock. I'm about this nerd life, as you can see, spreading like a virus on MP3. Yeah, on MP3. STC. Shout outs to Vic, Agnostic One, up in Silent John. Yeah. Nerd Life, Graphing Calculator, HP48G. The G is for gangster. Digital Stip, yeah. You know how we do.
What is up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGD. And that was Dig Dug Dig by YT Cracker. And of course, I am joined by my 2 compatriots here, Carl and Bomberny TV's very own Bob. How are you doing, gentlemen?
Pretty good. And you?
I am doing fantastic. Super fantastic. We got a big show. As soon as I figure out how to actually end this little ticker, because the show has started.
Big show.
Big show. We got lots of things to talk about, lots of things to discuss. But before we get into any of that, we got to ask Carl and Bob how their weeks have been. Carl, how has your week been?
Well, had a bit of rocky patch with Retrobro and Days Gaming trying to get Xbox Party to work right.
What was the issue?
The issue? It's a bad system. That's why the communication aspects. That is, you got to jump through so many hoops to get the PC to party up with the Xbox consoles.
Well, why didn't you guys just all use the Xbox consoles?
I don't know.
PC at it.
He doesn't have an Xbox. I don't think. At least not. I don't know. I don't know the specifics, to be honest. And that's all I'm saying that.
So I heard you had a milestone of some sort this week, Carl.
Yeah, 100 subs, folks. Thank you so much.
How did you get all those subs, Carl? Were they turkey subs or like bologna subs?
I don't know. They're just subscribers.
Well, congratulations, Carl, on hitting 100 subs. Hopefully, keep going upward and not devolving into doing any sort of drama content, because I would hate to see you get involved in some sort of drama content.
Only you're going to be laughing at it and note how all the stupid people getting themselves into drama.
I myself avoid drama. I don't speak about drama. I just do my thing and just focus on discussing geek and gaming culture and news. But you do you, Carl. And I'm very proud of your 100, and I hope to be back here soon to let people know that you've hit 2, 3, 4, 500.
600 is my goal, so yeah.
Now it's 600. Wow. Ambitious. Moving on to my man, Bob from Bombini TV. How has your week been? I hear
It's been a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster.
Would you like to elaborate on that, Bob? Or?
Well, I friend zoned one girl and a girl friend zoned me. So I kind of like struck out twice in a way.
So
well, you could always unfriend zone the one that you friend zone.
True, I was considering that. But then
unless
I realized,
she watches the show, and then in that case, she'll know that you're friend zone.
Then I realized it ain't about chasing skirt. It's about getting back to work. So I'm like really passionate about my music at the moment, and like I've been planning a few things, and I'm thinking like if I really dedicate myself to guitar for like the next 6 months, next summer I can join like a local band to get some like refreshed on my live experience, like playing live, and then like once I've got a bit of experience doing that, then I can go searching for a band I really want to be in. So that's kind of like the kind of plan.
That sounds great, except for the part where you're like, I'll join a band and I'll get all buddy with them. We'll play good music, and then as soon as I'm good, I'll just kick them to the curb and get a better band.
So Bob, it sounds like you got the Titanic to fly and then you crashed it.
Maybe. Well, I could always be in multiple bands. We'll have to see how things go.
I mean, you tried that very same thing with girls, and your friend zoned one, which would be the first band, and then the second band / girl friend zoned you, Bob. So I mean,
oh well, I don't know. Whatever.
Finbar
I
wants
didn't
to
think
know
of it that way around.
Was it the one with the kids, Bob?
The one with the kids, I friend zoned. The one without kids, friend zoned me.
I don't blame you.
I've had plenty of pussy. I've had more pussy than you've had Hot Meals, Evil. So, like, by now, I'm done.
We're only 7 minutes in the show, and already Bob's talking about pussy.
Cats.
Oh. Anything else going on, Bob? Any teases about upcoming content or?
Not really. I wish I could tease something. Just like continuing work on the 60-second reviews, and just keeping my ears to the ground if any juicy stories come up.
Sounds good. As for me, because I know everybody's dying to know how my week has been.
Mm-hmm.
It's been fantastic. I don't know if you watch the shorts that I post, but I got myself a free TV, gentlemen. 65 inches. 4K.
Oh, nice.
Did it fall off a truck?
It did not fall off a truck. My job gave it to me because I do such an excellent job at what I do.
Fuck.
Oh, okay.
It said, here is a free TV. # Latino discount. Boom.
Isn't it? What brand is it?
It's an Insignia.
Oh,
nice.
You poor bastard.
How am I a poor bastard? It's a free TV, Carl.
Yeah.
I've had free TVs. Free can suck, I hate to tell you.
Carl, you look at things so very wrong. Okay, it is a free 65-inch 4K TV.
That's at least $200 a TV, man.
It looks fantastic in my room. I went from 55 to 65. It's a nice improvement. Don't be jelly, Carl.
I'm not jealous. I can put a 65-inch TV in my room.
True, fair. I got a 65-inch CX LG OLED. It's like a $2,000 TV.
Ooh.
It's like really good for like cinema and shit. I want to get.
I have a 40-inch Samsung Crystal Clear.
Nice.
So
nice.
Well, it's like a $400 TV that my work just decided to give me for being awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, no, Evil, I love you, dude. Like, I'm just joking. It's just banter, man. Just because I've had more pussy than you doesn't mean I don't like you.
He's not welcome on my channel, I'll tell you that much.
I'm just in a bad mood because I struck out. Yeah. And I just woke up and I'm not feeling very well. But I've got the energy for tonight because you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
You guys give me the energy.
In addition to the lovely free television, The analytics are looking fantastic. We are making big strides. We're doing big things. We're getting lots of views.
Mhm.
People are coming and watching our videos. We're hitting the algorithm. So I'm looking forward to hitting 50,000 views this month. That's what my goal is. Last month we did 25,000. This month, with one less day, I'm going to hit 50,000. That's the goal. I think we can achieve it, gentlemen.
All right, sounds good. Let's get to it.
It's not all, because also during my week, because I am such a klutz, I fucking hit my head on a big metal post.
Sorry.
At least it wasn't a concrete tunnel, dude.
There's a story there, isn't there, Carl?
Yeah, there is.
You can't just say a thing like that without elaborating.
Let's just say I busted my head open 2 or 3 times in my childhood. Leave it there.
Same. It might explain a few things.
Not me. I took 30 years. It took 30 years before I broke any bones in my body. Ridiculous. Anyway.
You broke 34 bones in your body?
No, I said it took 30 years before I broke a bone in my body.
I've never broken a bone.
I've not broken it. Well, I fractured the top of one of my feet.
I broke.
That's fucking painful. I know.
Let's just say that whole bit about they tell you about falling down, careful about going down steps. They weren't lying about that.
Carl, you sound like a klutz. Me, on the other hand, I got hurt at work. I broke 3 fingers, fractured my wrist. I broke my ankle, fractured my leg.
Yeah.
Got 9 stitches in my forehead because I busted it open.
By the way, my fingers are healing, so.
Mitty's never broken a bone in his own body. He has snapped off a few dicks in his day. With that said, we're going to go ahead and let you guys in on what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be obviously talking about Sony and Tencent buying From Software, 30% control. We're going to go over some PlayStation user stats. She-Hulk episode 3, because it is awesome.
Yes, it is.
Bob brought to my attention an article about mental health and gaming, so we're going to go over that. We're going to be talking about DC Fandome getting canceled. Rings of Power, the reviews are halted because something about trolls. I don't know. We're going to go over that.
It's the Tolkien community.
There's a game called Brok the Investigator. It got review bombed by scammers. We're going to discuss that. And, of course, there might be a little bit of Intellivision Amico news, some polls we got to go over, and, maybe some other things, whatever we get up to. So, with that said, that is the intro. And let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Who we got here? Who has showed up today? We got
D-Reed, just another viewer, MIDI, Music Forever.
Well, I'm starting at the beginning. The first person here, obviously, was Chappie McChapster. He was first. Then we had MIDI Music. Carl was here for a little bit. I think he took off. Finbar Saunders, StreamElements Bot, Max Lenards, Sweet and Tender Hooligan. What we got here? Just another viewer.
Finbar.
D. Reed in the house.
Thinking Fox.
And Thinking Fox just showed up. Hello, gentlemen and ladies. I don't know your gender. I don't want to get canceled like the She-Hulk actress for misgendering any of these.
I'm pretty sure it's a sausage fest.
I don't know. We got like 10% female viewers now.
I've got like some 65 plus viewers.
You know, most, I think it's like, the most viewers I have are in my age group. Thank goodness.
So 65 plus, or?
Ha 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 ha. No, 33 to 45. Or 4, whatever.
Well, according to my stats here on the channel, in the last 28 days, we had 11.6% female audience, 88.4% male audience. We got 1.4% 13 to 17-year-olds. Some young kids is out here watching our videos for some reason. And the biggest section is obviously the 35 to 44-year-olds. but I did have 0.7% 65 plus. Someone's grandpa accidentally clicked on one of our videos. So thank you for that.
I have like a 3% for the for the 13 to 17 age group, and I have no idea how that happened.
Mitty says we should change it to Bomini and the Boomers.
I was also thinking maybe Bomini and the Boners.
Whoa.
You know,
How about Bomini and the Boner Killers?
Oh. Come on, guys. We're 16 minutes in. We got to stop talking about boners and pussies and all that other stuff. Let's have a nice, clean, family-friendly show.
Hell no.
Sorry.
Children are not welcome. Go away, children.
Children are welcome. If you're 13 years old and you're allowed to be on YouTube, you're welcome here. This is a safe and welcoming environment, Carl. Everybody, I don't care if you're black, white, purple, Carl. You're all welcome here.
I'm chartreuse, not purple, so there.
All right. With that said, what do you want to go over first, gentlemen?
She-Hulk. I don't want to talk about the Tolkien nerds until later.
That's not the Tolkien nerds. Stop calling people nerds, Carl. Seriously, you need to understand. This is a geek live stream. We have geek fans.
Yeah, well,
calling people who like Tolkien nerds. And
all I'm saying is the Tolkien group are a whole different breed unto themselves. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm saying, Carl, they're still our fans, is what I'm saying. So please stop insulting the people that might watch our show.
I don't know, man. Like, sometimes people like being called a nerd. I consider myself a Tolkien nerd.
Only if it's a woman doing it and you're paying her like $5 an hour on OnlyFans.
What?
That's the only time people like getting insulted. Just saying.
Nerd's not exactly an insult always. Just like geek isn't always an insult. Geek used to be an insult, but like nerds and geeks have reclaimed them.
Nerds.
2022, Tony, get with the times. Nerds is a positive thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's talk She-Hulk. Gentlemen, She-Hulk episode 3. Have you seen it? Have you enjoyed it?
Absolutely fantastic, except for that music video that they keep putting at the end.
Carl, hold on. Man, you always want to just rush into things. This is why you got a woman, Carl. You got to take it slow. Get to know it. You did a little teasing. Get everybody all excited and warmed up. You can't just go right in for the kill. You gotta ease the audience into this. So, Carl, what did you think overall, spoiler free, of the episode of She-Hulk?
It respected your time, and it was funny.
What do you give it out of 10, Carl? This episode,
based on my experience with watching the others, 9.
Wow. All right, Bomini TV. Did you see this episode?
Hell yeah, it was pretty good.
What do you give it out of 10?
I'd give it an 8. Like it's pretty good. It was pretty good. Like, yeah.
All right, me myself, I would give the episode about an 8. There are some problems. Some of the things that they wanted to make jokes, while funny, once you sit down and start thinking about it, you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So the general consensus from Rotten Tomatoes here is that they gave it about an 88% critic rating for this episode.
All right, so probably a little bit higher than an 8.
Yeah. So this is 110 critics.
Well, I mean, like, my review is based on, the improvement. How much of there was of the improvement there was going from episodes 1 and 2 to 3. That's why I gave it a 9.
Yeah, well, most critics gave it a 7.2 on average, 88% fresh rating. 13 rated it rotten. Out of the top critics, it's only got a 6.7% on average. That's 25 ratings. 3 of them rated it rotten. I don't know what it takes to be considered a top critic, versus just a regular Rotten Tomatoes critic. But the last episode had an 88.2. Episode 1.
Oh, is Marvel buying reviews again?
Episode 1 was an 87%. So it has improved according to the Rotten Tomatoes critics.
Slightly. I think
an improvement is an improvement.
Might be buying reviews.
I don't think they're buying reviews, Bob. Let's
I'm
not get into conspiracy theories. I will tell you the highlight for me is seeing Josh Segarra. He played the lawyer Pugliese. I loved him on Arrow.
Oh yeah,
it's fantastic seeing. I always love when I see somebody from like a public access, public broadcast system, PBS show. He was on The Electric Company. So it's always nice to see somebody like that actually make it. Like, hey, this guy went from being on this kiddie cartoon type show, and now he's in a real actual program. As far as the overall episode, spoiler free, we'll go through it. But Jennifer Walters is dealing with the fallout from both being the She-Hulk and now being the lawyer for Emil Blonsky, aka the Abomination, and the whole news report that he escaped prison to compete in the underground fighting tournament from Shanghai.
the Kumite.
Yeah. So
Shang-Chi.
Whatever.
Not Shang-Chi.
It's like chai tea. It's like tea.
No. You're gonna
No, chai tea is spelled CHAI.
All right, we're getting off track.
Back on.
All right. So she's dealing with that fallout. So she tells her assistant, they're discussing it. They find out that Wong exists because, Abomination's like, hey, I didn't want to leave. This master of the mystic arts, Wong, he sprung me, told me I had to leave. So they thirst trap Wong with a picture of the assistant, the paralegal, in front of some books. So he shows up. He's like, hey, I'll help you out. But while they're waiting for Wong to show up, the attorney from the first episode, the one that she was working with at the DA office, the kind of jerky dude. And I want to say that dude does exist in the comics. He is just as misogynistic in the comics as he is in the show. It is accurate. He does exist. He shows back up. He thinks he was dating Megan Thee Stallion. Turns out he was dating a shape-shifting light elf. And he wants to sue to get his money back. So that's the B story. She-Hulk obviously meets up with Wong. He says, yeah, it's my fault. I'll cover it. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, Josh Segarra, Pugliese, he takes the case for the other lawyer guy who was getting, he's suing the light elf. We get some shenanigans. We see that, people are starting to pay attention now. She-Hulk's getting a little backlash. There's a nice little montage where they have comments that actually came from the Instagram page of She-Hulk. They lifted those comments and put them into the episode. Legit. Yeah, those were legit.
Wow.
Where basically people are complaining that they're making all the heroes women, and why did they steal the Hulk's name and give it to a girl and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was kind of funny.
It is.
There's rumors now circulating because the She-Hulk's the attorney for the Abomination. Maybe they're dating. Maybe she's having his baby. She's really trying to avoid the whole media and all the attention. She just wants to be Jennifer Walters' lawyer. And without spoiling anything, the Abomination does eventually gets set free. He gets paroled. Everyone lives happily ever after. The elf ends up getting put in jail for 60 days because during the whole trial things, he impersonates the judge, and they basically find that dude is so delusional. He actually did think he was dating Megan Thee Stallion.
And I like that Emil Blonsky gives Jennifer advice.
Yeah.
To embrace to embrace all this stuff.
Yeah,
and how go on.
Oh, I just wanted to say I absolutely love Tim Roth. Like anything he's in is like lifted up, and it was really funny to see him in kind of like a character we don't always see him as. He was quite jovial and open and funny.
And the funniest part was in the B story, when Jennifer was testifying on the behalf of her former coworker.
Yeah.
That was the funniest part.
And then, of course, if you've been following anything Marvel, anything She-Hulk, you know that there was an after credit scene in which She-Hulk does sign Megan Thee Stallion to a to be her legal counsel from here on out, and they celebrate by twerking.
I missed that. I
You
didn't
missed
see
it.
that. I forgot about the post credit scene.
Poor Bob. It was twerking in all its glory. She-Hulk she dropped it like it was hot, Bob.
I'm gonna have to watch that and loop it on YouTube.
Lucky for you, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Hell
Ooh,
yeah!
nice.
So we can see exactly what everybody's been complaining about, because apparently this is like so egregious. They're all upset. How dare the She-Hulk twerk?
Mommy hurt.
Get
Mommy
the
Hulk
oil
hurt.
ready, Bob.
Well, guys, respectful.
I was respectful.
Let me find the tweet. Hold on. And actually, she did do the motion capture for it. So it is, some of it is CGI, some of it is the stunt actress who plays She-Hulk.
Right.
This is the tweet. There are actually some pretty funny memes coming out of it too.
I need to see more of those memes.
Because like I said, everybody's having fun with this whole thing. As soon as I can get it up, I should have been more prepared. I didn't think Bob had not seen it, so I was like, "Oh, Bob's seen this, obviously."
I saw it on Twitter, and I was
Danny's
like, watching the whole show, expecting it to be in the show, and I didn't realize there was a post-credit scene until I saw it on Twitter earlier today.
Danny's
like,
been
oh, I must
watching
have
her
missed it.
twerk.
Almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never gotta heat me up.
Oh, you are way more fun than my last lawyer. I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. Dial it back.
Oh my!
Yada.
That was it. I will
Nice.
kill for you. Everyone apparently missed the part where she said she's going to kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. They didn't care about that. They just cared about the whole, oh my God, She-Hulk twerked.
I barely noticed that.
You barely
Yeah, I
noticed that
saw a
she
bit of
twerked?
that video. Couldn't see much of it because bad eyesight.
Okay, but we're not focusing on someone who has nothing to do with the Marvel Universe right now.
Sorry, but yeah,
This is the video that Bob has been waiting for.
I need
yeah,
a 4-hour video of this uploaded to YouTube. Stat.
So there you go. That was the memes. There have been some other ones that are pretty good, pretty impressive. Now for the spoilers. So if you haven't seen episode 3, probably like go get a drink, go take a piss.
I was gonna say your first overview would be probably considered a spoiler, dude. Like that was pretty in depth.
Nah, not really. We had Tim Roth. He shows he's the Abomination. His soulmates show up, and just like I said, his soulmates are not the Thunderbolts. Has nothing to do with the Thunderbolts. They're actual just women who he met through the prison pen pal program. In one of the tickers on the news, we find out that Titania, she's going to be freed from prison. Her lawyers are taking care of everything, so she will be coming back. Also in this episode, we had the Wrecking Crew show up to try to steal Jennifer Walters' blood on behalf of some unnamed boss. They get their ass whipped. They're not super powered yet. They have magical weapons that don't really do anything. They just like glowy. It's like a glowing crowbar, helmets, some gloves, and a little ball and chain. Anything I missed, gentlemen?
You get to see Abomination actually transform into Abomination and control it, and he's not raged out. He's in complete control. And I think that's most of it.
Yeah. Also, Wong, he does tell the parole board, hey, I did let him go free. I forced him. I needed a worthy opponent to train as the Sorcerer Supreme. And then they're like, hey, by the way, you kind of committed a crime and you admitted to it. And Wong's like, oh, yeah, fuck that. And just leaves. Which is a funny moment, but at the same time, now Wong is a wanted criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, Tim Roth is going to be put with an inhibitor so he doesn't turn into the Abomination, Emil Blonsky. So he's going to be staying as a regular human. If he turns into the Abomination, they're going to basically rescind his parole, put him back in jail. But I think there's so many, as good as the episode was, there's so many worms, so many that came out of this can. Because if you have elves that can impersonate people, right? How's anybody going to jail now? Just in a normal sense.
Isn't that a bit of a Chekhov's gun or a setup for something later, I feel?
Maybe, but I think it's just a funny bit. But I'm saying, like, if you lived in the Marvel universe, right, and they said they arrested you, Bob, couldn't you just be like, I didn't do it. It was an elf.
True.
I was mind controlled.
Mm.
There's obviously clones of me running around. Like, there's so many things that happened in the Marvel universe, but I don't think you could put anybody in jail because reasonable doubt would just go out the window at that point, right? Because there's so much.
I guess.
I mean, there's one lesson to be learned from comic books. Live in a small town. Nothing will happen to you.
Except for when Superman landed in that small town.
Yeah.
Checkmate, Bob. Checkmate. All right. So it was an awesome episode. I know, but you can't checkmate Carl. No one checkmates Carl. Right, Carl?
Just how things are.
So it was an awesome episode. If you aren't watching the She-Hulk, what the hell is wrong with you? It's a great series. It's funny. I think it's the quips and the banter is great. Laughing the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this episode twice. Watched it once with the family and once with Mad Max yesterday. Yeah. It's great. It's fantastic. It holds up. It has repeat watch value. It's still funny on the second viewing.
I will be missing the episodes in September just because reasons, but I will be resuming watching them in October.
Yeah, well, it'll be over by then, Carl.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch them all through, so.
I think it's really good. The flow's good and it's funny, but like when they try too hard with the jokes, I think it's like kind of takes away from the overall show. I don't know if like the fourth wall breaking is actually working for it. It seems a bit too far for me. I think they could have like toned it back a little bit. It's very, very like over the top with some of the comedy.
Understandable. Either way, go out and watch it. Enjoy it. It's a great show.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Bob hated women. That's why he doesn't want them to be funny and talk to the fourth wall.
No.
Have you been hanging around Canadian gamers, Bob?
Carl, I'm going to ask you one last time to not mention other people, other YouTube channels.
Gamers!
No, Carl, we know what you're talking about. Carl, let's not be cute.
And yeah. No, I don't hate women and don't think they can be funny, but I just think the writing for this show is not I'm not the target demographic. So it's a bit like kind of younger comedy and, I don't know, women comedy.
Yeah, like I said, it's supposed to be like Ally McBeal. I find it funny. I find it interesting.
I think it's very interesting.
The narrative online is if you hate the show, then you hate women. If you don't find it funny, you hate women.
I mean... No, I don't. Think if you don't like the show, you hate women. It's just not for people who like law shows. That's all. That's what I interpret out of it, at least.
Also, did you know that Jamila Jamil, star of She-Hulk, she plays Titania, when she gets punched in the first episode, she actually pitched it so that she would get punched in the crotch.
Oh, I can't even say what I want to say.
I'm sure you could.
So she wanted to go for a pussy punch.
Yeah, she said that men are always getting kicked in the balls and stuff, and it's funny. So that she wanted to go ahead and let her get punched in the pussy.
That's messed up.
It's
So
kind of
was it-
stupid, honestly.
It was just going to be the reaction. Like, it was going to be filmed the same way, but when she's, like, falling backwards, she's just grabbing her crotch, like, as if she got punched there.
Right.
Uh,
That's interesting. So maybe they filmed it and like they wussed out and digitally changed it, or like refilmed it. Some of
Yeah,
it, I don't know.
they filmed it twice. They filmed it the one way and then the other way.
Yeah.
There's actually footage of it if you'd like to see it.
Go for it.
I gotta find it. Hold on. All right. Here we go. I hate the way fucking videos on Twitter work.
Right.
Oh, what the fuck? Nothing? You ain't gonna say nothing? Dead air?
Loading.
What the fuck?
I'm just giving you my honest reaction to like your potato internet.
It's not the internet because everything else is working except for this fucking GIF.
Weak sauce. Weak sauce.
It is. Let me see. I had to back out of the page, back in.
Let's first show everyone the stunt that they chose.
Okay.
So they chose the dignified one where I do the move and I get punched in the stomach and I get knocked out.
Okay.
I felt. Now, we have seen so many men kicked in the balls on television for such a long time.
Yes.
And we've never seen a woman just socked right in the vagine.
No. We really haven't.
And I believe in equality.
Yes.
And so therefore, I begged for, and I can't believe they're so cool that they let me even give them the take of what it would look like if She-Hulk punched me in the
Yes.
And so here it is for you now. I go in. Oh!
Wait, was that even?
Wow.
That is completely stupid.
You wouldn't have found that funny, Carl?
I didn't think it was that funny, no. Just for various reasons of which I won't mention.
Did you get punched in the vagina, Carl?
No. And you know why? Because I don't have one. So there.
I thought it would. I think it would have been funny. It would have been funnier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stupid. I mean, the reason there are nut shots is because it hurts when you get hit there.
Carl, I hate to break this to you, but it would hurt if you get punched.
There's been a pussy punch before in cinema, but maybe not in a TV show.
I don't know. I've never seen it, but
I've seen it.
Then again,
or at least
bad vision. It's one of the perks of having bad vision.
I guess it is, Carl.
Now we sound like horrible people wanting to see women get hit in the pussy. Are we Trumpers or not?
I am.
That's not.
All right, so we're going to move ahead from getting punched in the vagina to PlayStation user stats. I don't have a better transition for that, but there it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your friends, all that good stuff. But apparently we missed this somehow, Bob.
Yeah.
This was the Sony Entertainment, Interactive Entertainment. They gave a presentation at CEDEC 2022. It says, in a year, U.S. users play the most amount of titles on average. Japanese users play the least number of titles. So,
that's very interesting. Like, I was fascinated by this.
So are they playing?
I think we're going to get into that, Carl.
Yeah. So
there's more details.
The U.S. plays on average 10.7 titles a year. European players play on average 9.6 titles a year. Asian players, that are not include Japan, play 8.2 titles a year. And Japan only plays 5.9 titles a year. So about 6 titles. So what, Carl?
So I was just wondering, are they playing the Switch more often or the Xbox?
That has nothing to do with this. This is just PlayStation stats, Carl.
Yeah.
Oh,
So USA.
Yeah. I find this so funny because in a year, I play way more than 10 different titles. Even if you round it up to 11, I play way more than 11 different titles.
Yeah.
So, and then it says the average playtime per title in Japan is also a lot higher than other countries. So that could explain that. So we go
They
into
play
the chart.
less games, but they play more time on those games.
Yeah, so they play about 66.2 hours on average per title versus Asia 25.5, US 28.7, and Europe 27.2. I'm guessing it's probably a lot of MMO stuff.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from the article. Yeah.
And we go down and says Japan users also buy the most disc-only versions of games, of full games in the survey, whilst US buys the least. Digital-only purchase percentage is high worldwide.
let's get physical.
So as you can see, the disc-only US ranks the lowest. Digital-only, obviously, US ranks the highest.
Mm.
In other words, America is dooming us to an age of all digital media. Thanks a lot.
They're not dooming us. They're ushering us into a nice, bright future, Carl, of digital.
Physical, sure. Oh, digital. Yeah, digital's great.
It's fantastic.
It's the best way to go.
It says for PS trophies, Japan users have the highest average trophy percentage among the top titles. US on average has the lowest. So on average, Japan has 17.
Whoa.
I don't understand. I don't speak Japanese.
No,
I can't read this.
they've just got more.
Yeah, they just got more. We'll just put that.
Good job, America. I'm proud of you for not giving a shit about trophies.
Well, no, that kind of is an indication that they're like completing the games more thoroughly, going for secrets, unlocking stuff.
Yeah, I would imagine that it is a bronze, silver, gold, platinum.
Right.
Or maybe the other way around. Maybe it's platinum, gold, silver. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's platinum first, because otherwise it wouldn't. Because why would they have the main one on the right? The platinum would be the most indicative one.
Yeah, but here, so US has one in this category, but 15. So how could they have one bronze on average and then 15 platinum? But at the same time, Japan has 17 here and one here.
Yeah. Plus, there's the order of the trophies at the top of the screen. Is that indicative of the chart? So maybe the platinum's on the right?
I wish we actually read Japanese.
Yeah.
Or if maybe dude would have took the time to actually translate it.
Yeah.
That would have been helpful. Let me see the... yeah. No idea.
Asia and Europe are at the top. Oh, it is the fourth category is platinum, I think. Oh no. For platinum trophies, Asia and Europe are top. US is the lowest again. So which one does the US have the lowest in? This is in some weird order.
It is.
I don't get it. It's confusing.
All right. There's another. It says for platinum trophies, Asia and Europe are the top. I don't understand any of this shit. So I'm guessing Asia has 13 platinum trophies.
and Europe has 12, so that would make the one the platinum, surely, because US is the lowest with 1.
Then we go back to this chart. I don't know.
That's just trophies overall. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? But I thought that was interesting. Some interesting data.
Yeah.
I would think that if US are playing more games on average, that they would have more trophies. You would think that would just be naturally.
I don't know. Like, I play like 30 hours in a game and have like sometimes I don't have any trophies at all. Like, yeah, trophies can be hard to get, and you have to specifically go for them.
We're not
I can
ignoring
do
the chat, Tommy Miko. The chat's just not adding anything to the discussion of what we're talking
In my opinion, I think they're just Americans are maybe enjoying playing their games more, so they're not really as interested in collecting the trophies.
I think it's maybe because it sounds like US players are like playing the game, beating it, and then moving on to the next game. That's why they're racking up 10 games a year. And like the Japanese are like into their MMOs and longer games, so they're playing fewer games for longer amounts of time and getting more out of their game, or trying to get more out of their games by going for all the trophies.
Could be.
Perhaps.
No, maybe. Well, yeah.
We'll find
you
out.
need to get a lot of trophies to get like one platinum.
Yeah.
And some of those games, like, it gets longer and longer to get the platinum because they keep adding trophies.
Mm.
So there you go. Bob cracked the code. Either way, USA plays the most games. Japan, you don't play that many. Step up your game. Weak sauce.
Yeah, that's true, Tommy.
Tony's saying the chat is boring. No, the chat's not boring. But if you're talking about other things that we're not talking about, I'm not going to stop what we're discussing.
And you guys are talking about other things.
You're interrupting me again, Carl.
Sorry.
If you guys are talking off subject, I'm not going to highlight it and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how things work.
Yeah, you guys are talking about other things. I'm watching you now.
Japanese gamers don't buy American games 95% of the time. This is true, but every game in Japan is available digitally. Not every game in America is available physically. I think that's the difference. Because there's so many games that are not accessible on physical media. So we're just like, fuck it, buy it digital.
Wait, I have a question.
Oh.
Can you buy Japanese digital games in America? You know,
No.
the PlayStation.
No.
Okay.
I think you could create a profile with a Japanese account and then buy it, but I think you also need a Japanese credit card.
And a VPN.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think you actually need a VPN for consoles.
I think you do, because I think it checks where you're at.
Well, I know it works on Nintendo. You can create a Japanese account, definitely, and download stuff, so you don't need a VPN for that.
I know the Xbox, you definitely need a VPN.
Tommy Amigo says American gamers are constantly frothing at the mouth to get Japanese games and translate them. It's very common. Well, Japanese people like American games, but I think most games are made in Japan anyway.
I think that's going to be an after-party topic, Sweet and Tender, if we cover it.
What's that?
OnlyFans, what we think of OnlyFans.
I think OnlyFans is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's good.
I mean, I like it. But fans are better sometimes.
Can you do me a favor, Tony? There's a message from just another viewer with my name on it. Can you read that to me, please? I'm trying to find it.
This right here, Carl was always watching. Always watching, like Roz.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
He's making a Monsters Inc. reference, Carl. With that said, gentlemen, I think it's time we talk about the elephant in the room.
What's that? Is that going to be a terrible pun lead-in segue?
To what?
I don't know. What's elephant related? Go on. What's the elephant in the room?
Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power is getting review bombed. I think we need to talk about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
You
Yeah,
could've
yeah,
said-
right.
You could have said Oliphant, and that would have been a lead in. Because in
Well,
the books,
whatever.
they're elephants, not elephants.
I don't read the books because I'm not a dork.
They even mention it in the movie, I'm pretty sure.
I haven't watched the movie either because, again, I'm not a dork.
Don't insult our fan base, Tony. Don't
Tony.
Don't insult the Lord of the Rings fans, Tony.
So we're going to be talking Rings of Power. The reviews have been halted by Amazon. What does this mean? What's going on? Obviously, like the video if it's interesting to you. Share it with your friends. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. So this comes from the Hollywood Reporter. It says, is the Rings of Power getting review bombed? Amazon suspends ratings. The Lord of the Rings TV series has only a 37%. Damn, all these fucking ads. I don't give a shit about that shit. Has only a 37% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with some complaining about the show's diversity. Amazon halts reviews to prevent trolling. Where's a wizard to fight trolls when you need one? The mega-budget fantasy series, The Lord of the Rings of Power, is under fire from some of its viewers. A day after the first 2 episodes of Amazon's billion-dollar baby debuted on Prime Video, the show's average audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is a rotten 37%, and reviews on Amazon have been outright suspended. First off, does anybody actually give a shit about Rotten Tomatoes scores?
Not really.
Not me.
I
constantly see people talking about them and making videos and pointing whether laughing or not laughing or haha the show. And I'm like, I've never ever based my preference on whether I was going to watch something on what the Rotten Tomatoes score was. Like I always like, oh shit, hold on, let me check Rotten Tomatoes before I decide to watch something. Right? I'm always like, oh, it's interesting, I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know no one who watches cares about Rotten Tomatoes scores when they go to watch anything, at least not locally.
Yeah, same.
Just another viewer says I use Rotten Tomatoes to give me an idea. The only time I've ever used Rotten Tomatoes is after I've already watched something. I'm like, I wonder what other people thought of it, right?
Yeah.
But never before. Never like, hey, I wonder what people think of this. Because I don't want to get spoiled first off, right?
Yeah.
Like going to Rotten Tomatoes and reading the reviews. So I don't know. I really want to find those people that are like, I have to know what Rotten Tomatoes says before I watch it.
Yeah. Well, some people, like different people, like depending on the game or media, sometimes like I want to know like more about it before I engage with it. But no, never Rotten Tomatoes is never one of the real sources for me even.
And according to Amazon, and so take this with a grain of salt, but 25 million watch Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power premiere.
Right.
I don't know if that's good or bad. It's hard to tell because obviously I don't know how many subscribers are on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet, but I hear that if you don't have a little bit of understanding of Lord of the Rings stuff outside of the movies, you're probably going to struggle to understand some of the things going on. Like, you kind of need to have a bit of like knowledge of like the Silmarillion and stuff.
Oh, God. Justin, our viewer, says, I like to have an idea if I'm about to waste my time. But I think if you just look at a trailer, and that's when you decide, right? We never needed Rotten Tomatoes in the past. It's like, oh, that looks good. That sounds interesting. Everything's a waste of time, in the grand scheme of things. Finbar says, if I see a 0% or whatever, I check the movie out to see if it's really that bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Rotten Tomatoes like an aggregate? It is like an aggregate, and people don't understand how it works. So we'll go over it one more time. So we have gone over it before. The critics rating is a direct rating from the critics. So if a critic gives it a 3 out of 10, that's represented as a 3 out of 10. Now the user score is a determination whether or not the user thinks it's a 3.5 or above. So if the user gives it a 3.5 or above, that counts as a good. If it gives it a 3 or lower, it counts as a bad. And then it decides, it gives you an average of how many people said it was good versus how many said it was bad. So if 20% gave it a 3.5 or higher, then that's the 20% user score on Rotten Tomatoes. It does not actually figure in the actual, star rating. It's just a percentage of how many said 3.5 or better. The star rating for the critics is actually factored in, and that's when you get the 88% and all that.
Right.
Right.
And it's all about Siskel and Ebert. Too bad they are dead. Even Siskel and Ebert, I never even watched Siskel and Ebert. I always hear people talking about them, or, I would never read reviews. Maybe I'm just weird. Maybe that's what it is. Tommy Yumiko says, "Lo, I'm going to try not to be a dick when I say this, but they wanted minorities to be interested, and they also wanted hardcore J.R.R. Tolkien fans to be interested. The cross section is probably not wide."
Yeah.
And that's true, but I think also the issues with the Rings of Power is they didn't have access to everything. There was some kind of weird licensing thing because of the movies got access to certain parts of the actual books, and the Rings of Power only got access to like the Silmarillion and the other stuff, and not the actual Lord of the Rings trilogy or something. Some weird thing. Median versus mean, math lessons from Tony, yes. Just another reviewer says, "I feel like Tony and Bob be the only people reading the actual reviews." Maybe, but I don't put any weight into the Rotten Tomatoes. All right, so it goes on to say, compare that score to TV critics giving the show a very fresh 83% average, and many of the reviews were highly enthusiastic. It's great, a gorgeously immersing, grandly ambitious spectacle, packed with stunning imagery and compelling plot threads, wrote TV Line. The Hollywood Reporter dubbed the first 2 episodes a rather successful, promising start. It says, the scores come a couple weeks after Marvel's She-Hulk was declared review bombed on the site, with 88% critic score and an initial 36% audience score. How the Rings of Power is doing on Amazon's own user review ecosystem is not yet clear because the company has taken the unusual step of suspending user ratings for the show. An Amazon source says reviews are being held 72 hours to help weed out trolls and to ensure each review is legitimate. The source later claimed Prime Video started the policy this summer on all its shows. Review bombing is when a group of online users post numerous negative reviews for a product or service due to its perceived cultural or political issues rather than its actual quality. Perusing Rotten Tomatoes audience reviews for Rings of Power, there are some 1-star entries that meet the definition. They wanted to involve such an important work with current politics, and they have succeeded, reads an example. I think this is where I'm going to disagree with the Hollywood Reporter, right? Because that's actually a true statement. Okay, the people who were making the Rings of Power actually said they wanted to reflect some of the current political climate in the Rings of Power. So if someone is saying, "Hey, I don't like that," right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a true statement. That's like saying, I don't like orcs, so I think the show is bad. Well, that's a true statement. You can't call somebody a troll for having issues with something that's actually 100% true. Nobody has a problem with seeing people of color in movies, series, or stories, but this story was already written and should not have been sullied. See, I think right there, I think this is where I would have a problem with it, right? If you didn't include the word sullied, it's like, oh yeah, it would have been fine, but minority people made it awful, right? Like,
yeah, it has inferences attached to it. It's not a nice word.
Yeah. So if he was but the story was already written and should not have been changed, I would be like, yeah, okay, I understand that. That's a fine opinion to have, right?
Yeah.
But using the word sullied, that again, it has connotations to it. Opined another. Reflecting role diversity in Middle Earth is an odd goal, albeit good for marketing maybe, but it was clearly more important than making a functional TV series. See, again, I don't think this is a trolley review, right? Because they did say they want to reflect more diversity. They wanted to not have nothing but white people. They wanted to have minorities in the roles and stuff. And he's basically saying the show doesn't work, right? Like they took all the time casting and trying to make sure that minorities were represented, and they didn't take enough time actually making a good scripted show that actually had good plot and flow and everything like that. So not a troll review in my opinion. Nuance. The Hollywood Reporter does not have nuance. It says, but the majority of the negative reviews, whatever the writer's private feelings, criticize the show for non-diversity reasons. They spent $1 billion on backdrop and a film score, wrote one. The rest is slow-moving, wooden acting, and there's no reason to actually like the main characters. There is no soul to any of it.
Oof.
Honestly, when I watch something like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, I'm watching it not because it's Lord of the Rings, and I do have a story for that, but because it's a movie. But because they're movies. That's why I watch movies. I don't care about the stories attached to them. I never have. But in this case...
They're talking about the story in the movie, or in the show, Carl. They're talking about that story.
Yeah.
It's not good. Tommy Yumiko says, still, if you're going to suddenly show up with a whole brand new cast and invite a new group of people to watch your product, you have to explain what's going on in the product itself. Like, it would be a little rough if Black Panther expected you to know a whole lot about Captain America comics, wouldn't it? Well, yeah, like I said, I think the problem with this show in general is because they didn't license all of it. They only licensed certain sections of J.R.R. Tolkien's work, and then so they started filling in the gaps with other things. And again, if you didn't have knowledge of these other books and stuff, you probably kind of lost. Like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? You know. And maybe there's probably a lot of people, because people are dumb, right? There's probably a lot of people that were expecting like Bilbo and all them to show. Like, where the hell's Bilbo and fucking the guys from Lord of the Rings? Like what the fuck's this?
It's like at least a few hundred years in the past, if not longer.
Yeah, that's why I said people are stupid.
Yeah. Like the Silmarillion deals with the creation of like the entire of existence, but like this is like set at a certain part of the Silmarillion.
There was one aspect even the show's biggest haters seem to agree on. The Rings of Power looks amazing. Stunningly beautiful world, wrote a reviewer. Sadly, it was bored out of my mind. Over at TV Land, the site's post-premiere poll suggested most viewers had a much more positive reaction, with 62% of viewers granting the show an A rating. I think, again, I've never heard of TV Line or their polls and stuff, so I think it's just like Rotten Tomatoes is just where more people know, so more people congregate on the Rotten Tomatoes. Amazon's own IMDb, but hasn't suspended that site's audience rating. Amazon owns IMDb, but hasn't suspended that audience's rating. IMDb's score were likewise higher than those on Rotten Tomatoes, albeit still biddling with a 6.1 average score out of 10. Like with Rotten Tomatoes, most viewers gave the show either the best possible score, 10, or the worst possible score, 1. See, again, I think this is dumb. Like, if you don't think people giving it a 10 are good trolls or love bombing the show, yeah, then you can't say the same thing about a 1, right? If you're gonna let a 10 opinion stand, then you have to let a 1 opinion stand, whether you like it or not. The latter suggesting that there's at least some degree of outrage blasting going on. Interestingly, The Rings of Power delivered a high average score among females, 6.8, or higher average among females, 6.8, than males, 5.9. If review bombing is occurring, the audience score will likely rise. She-Hulk climbed from 36% on Rotten Tomatoes to 50% in the last week, and should climb further if the show delivers in its future episodes. Fans come to major franchise titles with a lot of expectations, but if the shows manage to deliver consistent quality over time, they tend to eventually win people over and move those audience scores. But for the moment, at least on Amazon's site, reviews shall not pass. Wow, they just had to put that in there.
Yeah, that was the most awkward way to put that in. Boo.
So what do we think about review bombing and all this?
I think it like ruins it for everyone else. Like, I don't think it helps.
Yeah, I agree.
But do you think that it has its place in modern society?
No.
Well, it happens, but like, there's not much which can be done to stop it. They can I don't know. There's not much which can be done to stop it unless they just
But you don't think that review bombing could be a good thing?
No, I don't.
No.
You can't tell people.
Because it's like
I mean,
putting
like,
down a score way below what you'd actually give it in by definition.
I mean, you're being
Review
dishonest. You
Yeah.
know, I'm
It might-
pragmatic, but you know,
Like-
review bombing, you're not even giving it a shot.
All right, can we stop stepping over each other's toes? What were you
Sorry.
gonna say, Bob?
Sorry, I was just going to say, like it might not be as bad as a 1, but like even if they gave it a 3 or a 4, that's like better than a 1.
Okay, but what if, like, let's say in Blizzard's case, right? We know Blizzard is a horrible company. They've done horrible things. So you review bomb the next WoW expansion to show Blizzard that you're not going to put up with their corporate behavior and buy their products.
If I wanted to make an actual stand, I wouldn't even engage with any of their products, and I wouldn't review bomb it if I haven't played the product.
But you know that by review bombing it, it's going to hurt their bottom line, and they might actually fix their corporate structure because they're losing money because of the reviews being negative.
That'll never happen.
It affects their stock, Carl.
Yeah.
But they won't
But
change
like
them.
that's unfair to all the artists and programmers who worked on the game and a product. You're saying that their product is reviewed less because of the corporate situations they've had to suffer through. I think the product should stand aside of the politics of the office because
I
of the
agree.
respect of the artists within.
Well, there you have it. Rings of Power. The reviews are halted on IMDb, on Amazon's own site. I haven't seen it. Let me know what you think. If you've seen it, if you think it's good, if you think it's bad. I've heard some things. I'm going to review bomb the shit out of this show.
No, you're not.
I'm going to say, I used to like it, but then Carl and Bob made me hate it.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Go ahead. You're the one that has to live with your own choices, so.
Like, I can't live with my choices.
Boo, Tony, boo.
I think Tony is bad. Wait, what was the question again? Social media has become toxic. It really... I don't think social media has become toxic. I think people have become toxic.
That's what happens when you expose people to the internet with no liability.
There is
Yo,
liability.
Wiley.
Good evening, Wiley. What's going on? Hope you're doing awesome. In the words of Bob. Tommy Miko says, my favorite part of the Lord of the Rings movie was the scary parts. If they have something like that and it's not boring, I could watch it. But thanks if it is.
I think there's a bit of
Interesting
action.
point.
There's a bit of action and stuff in it.
I heard there was a lot of talking in the first couple episodes of this Rings of Power.
Right. I mean, there's at least some action from the trailer.
You know, one of the reasons I like the Peter Jackson movies was just the interpretation, you know?
Yeah.
You know, looking at it from a different perspective.
So did you read the books?
You know, that's the story I wanted to eventually get to. So I did try to read the books.
Yeah.
Now, I had the large print, all-in-one trilogy book, okay? Do you know how heavy that book is?
No.
And how hard it is to read a book that heavy?
No.
It's freaking impossible. I
Then
thought
why
about
did you
going
try?
back to like doing the e-reading, but you know,
Why don't you get the audiobook?
I could. I did. That's how I did do the Hobbit actually.
So, speaking of review bombs, there was a story the other day about
Ooh.
a small indie game called Brok the Investigator, and it got review bombed by scammers.
Ooh.
So let's talk about it.
All right.
So we're going to be talking Brok the Investigator getting review bombed. It got review bombed by some key scammers that were looking for free games that they could turn around and sell on these, websites that sell review keys. Let me remind you to like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel. Things like this are important to talk about because they don't get a lot of mainstream attention. And when they do, they usually get the story wrong.
And remember, folks, one more like brings Bob closer to a girlfriend.
Ooh. All right, so this is Brok. This is Cowcat Games. Their Twitter feed. Stop opening that shit up. I hate the new Twitter, by the way, where they have this little pop-up that opens up your fucking private message window.
Yeah.
It says Brok is currently being mass targeted by Steam curators sending negative reviews. Thread. Here are all the curated reviews for the game, and you can notice there's a good chunk of suspicious negative reviews. What are you laughing at, Carl?
Just one of the comments. Sorry.
Which comment, Carl?
Carl is going to look like Retro Bro by lifting Lord of the Rings books. I'm kind of simplifying, but that's basically the gist of it.
All right, so
yeah, Mr. Beefy.
As you can see, here are the reviews. Follow, shut up, and listen. Not recommended. Recommends all these other games. Follow, should you play this? Not recommended Brok. Recommending a bunch of other games. Follow impartial reviews. Not recommended Brok. Recommending all these other games. Follow 1 to 10 reviews to see more reviews like this. Not recommended Brok. Recommended all these other games. It says, obviously, this makes no sense whatsoever. The player reviews are 100% positive. The gaming site reviews are also excellent. In addition, most of those curators had already posted a very positive review. Wish I had taken screenshots. So what happened? Why did they turn them negative suddenly? I'm suspecting these are all scammers who got angry at me for, quote, some reason. Tongue sticking out emoji. Here's the kind of emails I got before release. Tons and tons of them. All indie devs have to suffer through these. So he's got all these emails from different people looking for keys, review copies.
Yeah.
He says, it is very easy to figure out that they are almost all scammers who attempt to steal keys from devs to resell them. Here's a thread that explains it. So there's a thread on Reddit about scammers, trying to get keys to resell it at reselling sites.
Right.
It says, yet I don't like the idea of leaving the few legit ones aside because some massive group of fake ones. So what did I do? In order to separate the few legit ones to the fake ones, I started sending them free prologue keys instead of full versions. Tongue sticking out emoji. As far as I know, for Steam keys, it's impossible to distinguish them before activating the key onto an account. So I figured the legit ones would come back to me asking why they were sent a prologue key. Very few actually did, confirming that most of these emails are from scammers who did not even activate those keys on their account before posting a review. My theory is that those scammers started selling the keys on gray sites like Kingium, GameEvo, G2A, etc., and are getting angry clients coming back at them. So basically what he's saying is that he's sold keys, or he gave them keys for just the prologue of the game, opening level. They took them, sold them on these shady websites. Those people bought them, started playing the game, were like, fuck, this is only a partial key. And so they started getting, angry emails. I'm not paying for this. Give me my money back.
Yeah.
For this bullshit. It says, I can't exactly prove it, but I don't see any other reason my game would be the only one targeted like this. Check some of them. My game is the only one with a negative review. Lol. Maybe it's even one single person behind all these fake curators. Those reviews are 100% fake because considering I sent them prologue keys, they couldn't play the full game. Yet I was surprised somehow those curators were able to post reviews of the game on the full version page. Why does Steam allow this in the first place? I have no idea.
Go on. I was just curious about something.
What?
Is this game on the consoles or just Steam?
Just Steam.
Oh. Okay. Thanks.
I have no idea if curator reviews actually have an impact on sales. Probably not, but frankly, I don't care. However, I'm going to report these curators to Steam, and I highly suggest some of you help by doing the same. This is unacceptable from Steam to let those fake reviewers continue their activity of harassing indie devs for keys and doing blackmailing. Never buy keys on gray sites, folks. Indie devs get no money at all from them. They are stolen keys. You're only giving money to the leeches. I believe this screenshot sums it all. Impartial reviewer creator. It says, not recommended. The lack of polish is visible in all areas of the story, though this is less bad than how it is to the game is into a chore. So obviously, he's recommended 468 games and only not recommended these two, and one of them being Brok. Oh, look what I found in my inbox. Come on, open up. It says, hi there, Fabrice. I can see why you have so many negative curator reviews. Here you can find out the truth about your game. Best witch is Reese. And here's that particular curator who sent me the email. Brok is the only game not recommended out of 204 games. I was informed the curators involved had been removed by Steam. Somehow I feel just slight guilt over it now. I'm aware these scammers often live in less fortunate countries where making a living is hard, but they should do positive work, building something instead of filling our mailboxes with spam and leeching off the work of others. Finally, here's the official Steam reply to the matter. It says, hi Fabrice, or hey Fabrice, thanks for taking the time to reach out about this and congrats on your recent release. Sorry to hear about the challenges. We have some general community guidelines for curators. If we think some specific curators are breaking those guidelines, we'd be glad to take a closer look. Separate from that, thanks for the feedback on curators. I wanted to share some background on curator visibility for context and then talk through some of your suggestions. First, an important aspect of curators is that the customers won't see a curator recommendation on a game page unless they follow that curator or specifically seek them out. So even if a curator shared negative feedback about your game, the only folks who would see it on your product page are the users who directly follow the curator. And we don't use curator negative reviews to impact discoverability or recommendation in the store. In terms of reviewing unowned games, this is a much broader topic because of the way press, journalists, influencers, and other networks own and review products. Some examples might be an outlet that owned and played the game via a different PC store but does not own a Steam copy. Well, I think right here, this is bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Because I know that if I review a game on PlayStation 4, for example, right? I don't talk about the Xbox version. I'll just be like, this is the PlayStation 4 version. I have no idea if the Xbox version runs the same, if it runs the same on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to put a Nintendo Switch review on a game that I played on PlayStation 5. So if they don't have it on Steam, they shouldn't be putting a review on Steam about the game. An outlet that owned and played the Steam copy but no longer owns it because a beta or press key was revoked. If a key was revoked, there's usually a reason for that. So that's kind of a weird one. An outlet that has many different contributors with different Steam accounts or where membership changes over time. This one's kind of iffy because even when I worked for other game websites, the key would go directly to me. It wouldn't go to they wouldn't be like, here's the Steam account that everybody logs into or something, right?
Yeah.
So again, that's kind of iffy. Maybe there's some outlets that do that. I don't know any. Blocking curator reviews based on the lack of Steam ownership would create some pretty significant problems for some curators and journalists. And that sounds like their problem, not your problem. As mentioned above, the curator recommendations only show to existing followers. Folks who have proactively said, I want to know this outlet's opinion. So we've chosen not to put a bunch of friction on that, since customers can follow curators or not as they see fit. All this said, there are definitely ways for us to improve Steam curators and Curator Connect. And all the recent conversation about the feature has us looking at a few different options. Your ideas around revising limits or communication paths are definitely in line with things we've discussed in the past. So if you have other feedback or suggestions, please feel free to send them, and we will file them under G for garbage. because that's usually what Steam and everything else does. That's just corporate speak. So this small indie company here was basically targeted because they didn't want to put up with bullshit. I know, like for us, we're a small little YouTube channel, and we do reach out to people, and I'm sure they get thousands and thousands of emails like that, and it is a shame. The scammers not only affect them, the actual games, but they affect small outlets like us because we get lumped in with them, right? They're like, well, fuck it. If you're not from a huge outlet, we're just not going to deal with it because we don't know who's legit, who's not legit. Anything else that needs to be said about this?
No, I think you said it pretty good. Well,
Yeah.
well, I would like to say one thing. If they had put this game on a console, they probably would have fewer problems. Just saying.
It's a point and click adventure game, Carl. It's not really a console type thing. Consoles don't really like point and click adventures. That said, don't buy keys from fucking shady websites.
Yeah.
Carl, people die when you do that, Carl.
Do what?
Slam Masters will distract me from making the chat more boring, I guess.
I did have a suggestion of a game for Evil Knievel. You should try Bucky O'Hare on the NES. It's actually really, really good.
On the NES? What's the NES?
NES.
The Nintendo Entertainment System or Nintendo.
Or the NES. NES. Not NES, N-E-Z.
Not even NES. Just Nintendo.
Joshua Perez says, I'm glad that Prey failed to get review bombed because I love that film. I heard there was some issues with it, but overall, it was a good, fun film.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it. I was going to watch it. I might watch it Monday, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But I have a bunch of other things I got to do. Yeah, see? NES, not a sneeze. N-E-Z.
Get good, Evil. I've beaten it.
Joshua Perez says, I miss those times that you bought a DVD game that had the full game and didn't need to have a Steam account or Steam download. Yeah, those days are over. Shut up, Saggy. Ooh, Finbar says, to us over here, it's always been pronounced Nez. Is that true, Bob?
Yes. 100% true.
So I'm just being a
Yo,
jerk.
Saggy, what up?
You're just being a jerk. Yeah.
If you're a furry and you like furry stuff, then Brok the Investigator is your point and click adventure because it is all anthropomorphic animals.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
I was just talking to the chat, Bob. I wasn't talking to you, but it's good to know that you were quote unquote joking. The following article comes from Jumatsu? I don't fucking know how to pronounce this shit. Sony and Tencent buy From Software. Well, not exactly. That's a little clickbaity. They only bought about 30% combined. Again, this comes from Jumatsu. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. But Tencent and Sony Interactive Entertainment collectively acquire 30.34% of From Software. Tencent holds 16.25% of shares. Sony Interactive Entertainment holds 14.09%.
Great. The most evil companies in the world. Well, at least one.
Which one? You talking about From Software?
Tencent. They're like the masters of microtransactions and monetizing games.
From Software has issued new shares of its stock to Tencent Holdings subsidiary SixJoy Hong Kong and Sony Group subsidiary Sony Interactive Entertainment. From Software parent company Katakawa Corporation announced. Through the third-party allotment, SixJoy Hong Kong will own 16.25% of From Software shares, and Sony Interactive Entertainment will own 14.09%. Katakawa Corporation remains the largest shareholder of the company with 69.66% of shares. Get the full press release below. Purpose and the reason for the third-party allotment. The Katakawa Group advocates a global media mix with technology as its fundamental strategy that combines the stable creation of intellectual property consisting of a variety of portfolio, blah, blah. It's a lot of blah, blah, blah here, guys. I don't think we need to read it all.
Skip. We get the picture. It's a very formal sounding document.
It is. Basically, Sony and now Tencent bought shares in From Software. So look forward to more From Software stuff being Sony exclusive in the future.
Yeah. Or I don't know, man. They might keep it on PC. It might go away from Xbox.
Yeah, I think it all depends on what happens with the Call of Duties and stuff. Obviously, Sony and Microsoft are going to war. They're buying up troops, buying up soldiers. They're trying to get some sort of advantage over the other guy. So we'll see how it pans out. I got my money on Sony because Sony is outselling Xbox 2-1 as of this year.
Yeah, but the problem is Microsoft is just such a giant of a company compared to Sony. It's hard to even compete long term.
And yet they have, and Sony has been kicking their ass this whole time. All right.
But so many people have Game Pass now, and PC players often have Game Pass. It's spreading massively.
Zudijin says Sony already has stake in FromSoft parent company Katakawa before this deal. Yeah, that's what I've heard. So that's why I say that From Software might start going exclusive.
I think it's great that Tencent bought From Software. It means that the most annoying genre in the world will get crappier and crappier.
What's the most annoying genre in the world, Carl?
Soulsborne garbage.
You know who agrees with that take?
Who?
Gary. And you know Gary's always wrong, Carl. So.
But I hear that one of the reasons they went ahead with the sale to Tencent was to enable From Software to publish its own titles, because the last two games have been Activision and Bandai Namco. I think Bandai Namco did Sekiro and Activision did Elden Ring. So they want to get their own publishing so they can publish their other shit.
Joshua Press says Sony is the smallest stakeholder, though. Yeah, Saggy, why are you picking on Ben? Don't pick on Ben.
Because they definitely, their next project is definitely in the works, and they might be looking for a publisher now to secure a deal. So if they're their own publisher, then that solves it. Plus, the Tencent sale is going to be a big cash injection into the company. And From Software don't usually listen to investors, so I don't think they're going to be too badly influenced by microtransactions and stuff at all, if even.
Saggy thinks she's just like Jesus. She says, "I'm just like Jesus." It's just titties, people. How are you like Jesus? Did Jesus show his titties on OnlyFans?
Whoa, I wouldn't say that, Sag. That's a big leap.
Are your titties performing miracles? They raising the dead?
I mean,
curing the blind.
They're
that Carl. If you no, I won't continue that thought. Sorry. I straight that from.
This is really a subject we should be talking about during the after party.
Boo! You know what you did? I know what I did. This is why punctuation is so important. It should say, "I'm just like, quote, Jesus. It's just titties, people," unquote. Or put a comma after the just. Anyway, we're definitely going to be talking about Saggy's OnlyFans on the after show, as well as the reactions to it, as well as Carl's review, his two-fisted review of the OnlyFans content on Saggy.
Yeah, I do want to give my thoughts on the content.
But of course, that will be after the show.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. We're already going there.
We are.
Especially since I took the time and subscribed to the thing, so I deserve to have a say-so.
Anyway, moving on to gaming and mental health, because Bob brought to our attention a nice study out of the UK. This comes from the University of Oxford. I don't know if I trust anyone who has a university about oxes, but Bob thinks it's some sort of legitimate place or some shit. I don't know. Sounds kind of sketch to me.
It sounds really interesting. Like are we going through the whole article?
Going through the whole thing, baby.
Okay, then I won't spoil it.
Gaming does not appear harmful to mental health unless the gamer can't stop. Oxford study. Societies may tremble when a hot new video game is released, but the hours spent playing popular video games do not appear to be damaging players' mental health, according to the largest ever survey of nearly 40,000 gamers and their gaming habits, which was conducted over 6 weeks by a team from Oxford's Internet Institute. That does not mean, however, that the research did not throw up some concerns, and the team argues much more information is needed before tech regulators can really rest easy. The research published in the journal Royal Society Open Science found no causal link between gaming and poor mental health, whatever sort of games are being played. But Professor Andrew K. P. O2 senior research fellow says the research did not show a distinct difference in the experience of gamers who play because they want to and those who play because they feel they have to. He maintains, we found it really does not matter how much gamers played in terms of the sense of well-being. It wasn't the quantity of gaming, but it was the quality that counted. If they felt they had to play, they felt worse. If they played because they loved it, then the data did not suggest it affected their mental health. It seemed to give them a strong positive feeling. The groundbreaking survey of gamers was the most comprehensive to date, taking in multiple platforms and 7 different games, including basic games such as Animal Crossing, New Horizons, racing simulators such as Gran Turismo Sport, and more competitive games such as Apex Legends. That's not competitive. And EVE Online.
EVE Online is massively competitive and good.
And, says Professor P, there was no difference in impact on mental health, whether game involved moving to a new town with talking animals, as in Animal Crossing, or taking part in a battle royale style game such as Apex Legends. Players own their gaming data, which is accumulated by the platforms, and nearly 40,000 people gave permission for it to be used for the research. Previous studies have often involved players keeping diaries of their reactions to gaming. The access to real-time gaming data gave only a tantalizing insight into the impact of gaming, though, says Professor P. And although the O2 has made the data available to other academics, it is a drop in the ocean in terms of possible available data and only offers limited access. Professor P explains, about 1 billion people are playing video games. Man, that's a lot of people to buy Amicos. There are 3,000 games on a Nintendo platform alone. People play multiple games, and we were able to access information about 39,000 people playing just 7 popular games. They already lost 1,000 people because they said it was 40,000 people in the survey. Now there's only 39,000.
4 billion suckers out there.
You got to step up your game. In order to answer the question that parents such as he wanted answered, Professor P says we need to collect larger representative samples, and we need to do it at the platform level. Looking at just 7 games is like looking at 7 foodstuffs when you know Tesco's and the other supermarkets sell thousands of different foods and shoppers fill diverse trolleys. What the fuck is a trolley?
It's kind of like a streetcar.
Yeah. Why do they got streetcars inside your stores?
No, a trolley is like what do you call like in a supermarket, like
shopping cart?
Shopping cart, yeah. We call them trolley, shopping trolley.
Shopping trolley. How the fuck? Y'all people are weird over there across the pond.
Trolleys are street cars. That's why the Dodgers were
No,
known
we
as the
call them,
Trolley Dodgers.
We call them trams.
Back on subject. As well as being a parent, Professor P has grown up playing games himself, and he says such research is essential to understanding the real impact of gaming on the individual. Although today's research suggests gaming may only be a negative influence only for those who feel compelled to game rather than all users, there is much more to be learned. These are just the first steps into the world of understanding how gaming fits into gamers' lives, he said. And it seems that why you are playing is a key factor. This is an exciting study, but there's a lot of work to do. But months of negotiation with the gaming platforms about the use of data preceded the research, followed by months of analysis. Analyzing the data itself was the easy bit, said Professor P. The Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo platforms have complex relationships with hundreds of game developers, and it is tricky to get everyone to agree that independent and rigorous science is in the player's best interest. But Professor P points out the data belongs to the gamers, not to the platforms and not to the game developers. Gamers have the legal right to donate their data. It would be an amazing step forward if we collected data at the platform level. He adds, players want to know what impact gaming has. Scientists want to know. Parents want to know. The government wants to know. I want to know. And the information is there. The data needs to be open and it needs to be easy to share. Professor P concludes, if the big gaming platforms care about their players' well-being, they need to empower players and scientists to learn about their products influence us for good or ill. The report can be seen here. We're gonna read it, the entire Royal Society.
No, I think that's enough.
I think it might be too complex for most of us to understand.
Yeah.
Or most of you anyway.
So does that mean I'm in an abusive relationship with Elden Ring?
Possibly. Do you feel compelled to play Elden Ring, or do you feel like you enjoy it?
Compelled.
Finbar says, we invented the language, fuck you. Evil Knievel says, Saggy, will you join my panel on time now that TGD has shadow banned me? I become a drama channel apparently. When did we shadow ban Evil Knievel? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Anyway, I think this is a very interesting study, and I think it just proves what I've been saying all along. As long as you're not have other issues going on, as long as you're not truly addicted to playing, like you feel compelled to play, then gaming's fine. It's no big deal. I could quit whenever I want. What's been going on in the chat? You guys really got to understand, when I am reading an article or something, I have no idea what the hell's going on in the chat.
Yeah, sometimes I get looked into the article and like I'm really interested by it.
Well, it's another page. The tab that has this chat is when I go to another tab, I can't see the chat, obviously. So when I'm reading an article, I can't see the chat at all. Also, Saggy's swinging her dick around, apparently.
Saggy can quit Apex Legends whenever she wants.
Review bombing Saggy's OnlyFans? Yeah.
I'm not getting review bombing. I actually gave her some helpful ideas.
Finbar says, school them, Bob.
Yeah, I'll try.
Saggy's like 35 or 36. Saggy's not that young.
Oh, shots fired.
What else we got? Does Professor P make you say,
Life begins at 40. Sorry.
That's it. Evil Knievel, are you drunk or stoned? I am kind of. What else we got going on? Who's addicted to gaming? Wiley says he's addicted to gaming. I don't think you are, Wiley.
I'm probably addicted.
Damn, Tony. Damn what? What are we damning? I'm 36, you asshole. Which is higher than 35. Anyway, we got, what, 2 more articles to go over?
Yeah.
Do we got to talk about Amico? Was anything happening in Amico land this week?
No.
There was
Not that I
something,
know
wasn't
of.
there? There was a little something. I forget what it is.
I think it's time for the Intellivision Amico update of the week.
Big Amico news.
Big news. So,
All right.
why you sound so like sad, Carl?
Oh no. I'm just just talking about more Amico stuff.
So if you haven't heard yet, the Intellivision Amico CEO Phil Adam sent out an email. We covered it on the channel. Other channels have covered it. So basically, they said that they're going to license 4 more games to BBG GmbH. It's a German company that makes mobile games. And they said they're going to have access to the original as well as the Amico versions of those games. So obviously, it's got to be games that they 100% own from Intellivision and that have obviously original Intellivision versions. So we could probably narrow down what games they are. Skiing, Tank Battle, Biplanes, Night Stalker.
Cloudy Mountain.
Cloudy Mountain has no, because they wouldn't be able to have access to the original version of Cloudy Mountain.
Oh, okay.
License.
Okay. All right.
What else? What other Amigo games are coming out?
Shark. I don't know
Yeah,
exactly what counted.
Shark. So my guess is it's going to be Tank Battle, Shark,
Yes,
Biplanes, and Skiing, because those are probably the 4 easiest to port to mobile, and the 4 that the company would want. Then they also said the 2 most anticipated games for the Amico, they're working on separate deals for them to go multi-play. Again, I think it's going to be Finnegan Fox and Rigid Force Redux. And I think it's these 2 games because A, they're already finished because they exist in other forms. Finnegan Fox is Fox and Force. Rigid Force Redux is Rigid Force Alpha. And B, they would be really easy to port to other systems because again, they're already on other systems. It would just be a matter of porting the new version of Finnegan Fox, and as the new version of Fox and Force, Finnegan Fox, and they already just changed the sprite work, and they probably can be a real easy port because they already know the game can run on those other hardwares. Same thing with Rigid Force Redux. They would just bring it out as a director's cut or a deluxe edition, or even just DLC for the 2-player mode, and put it on consoles that already have it, which seems to be the easiest thing. And also, these companies have been waiting to make some kind of money, and this would be the easiest way to make them happy and say, yeah, go ahead and release those other versions while we're still trying to get the Amico going. Speaking of getting the Amico going, they basically admitted that they're not in production yet. Everyone keeps talking production this, production that, pilot production. They don't have the FCC certs still. They barely got this bug worked out, which means they didn't do any testing, any test production yet. This was the test run, so they haven't gone into full manufacturing yet. We have the full list of parts they need for the Amico, and I can tell you that some of them have 3-month lead times or more.
No, wait a minute. Are you telling me that the Amico is not going to be a supercomputer?
No, it's not. No. So the whole idea of formal production and formal pre-production and pre-formal, yada, all that shit, they've just been stringing you along, kicking the can down the road. I know everyone loves that phrase. Just kick that can right on down the road.
Mm-hmm.
None of that's going to happen. They basically have nobody working there. They've actually, and this is an exclusive Amico update. Basically, they've had to ask people who used to work there to do some part-time work for little to no money to help them out. Just another reviewer says they don't need FCC if they're selling the units. It's going to people. Yeah, but see, the whole thing is people like other channels are basically saying, "Hey, this means they're going to go into production now," and I'm saying it doesn't mean they're going into production now because they don't have FCC, right? You can't go into production without the FCC because you can't sell them without the FCC. These are just cobbled together units. The whole idea that they put them, again, if you know anything about manufacturing, you do not go to a company and say, I want to manufacture Amigos, but I only want like 50 of them, right? They're going to laugh you out of the fucking building, or they're going to charge you this huge amount because you have to get all the fucking
machining, tooling,
the tooling and everything. These are new products. This is not a product that like, hey, I want to build chairs. And like, oh yeah, we got the chair assembly machine already, right? No, this is a brand new product that needs new tooling, new machinery, new setup. No company is going to do all that to build like 30 of them, right?
Mm.
They'll build the 30 if they're also going to build 100,000 or 200. They're like, hey, we want 100,000 built, and let's get this thing set up and roll out the test production units and then roll out the whole thing. We know when television doesn't have money for that. So this whole idea that they've gone somewhere to manufacture 30 or 40 of them is insane. Yeah. Anybody who believes it is insane.
I don't think there's many more Amigos in the world than that anyway. Like, I don't think there's more than 100 like dev units, prototype units. There's no more than like that at all. Like, there might be like 50 demo units created, or 75 or 80 or some weird number.
No, there's not. We know exactly how many demo units have been made. We know who has the demo units. I know personally at least 2 developers that have not sent back demo units,
right?
Because they were never asked for them back yet. They never said that a manufacturer is making them. Yes, Intellivision has never said that, but other people have said that. That's the problem. The problem is not what Intellivision is saying. The problem is what other people who are speaking on behalf of Intellivision are saying. The way other people are interpreting this email, that's the issue. And then we have to go behind these people and say, hey, what they said was stupid, and here's why the thing they said was stupid.
So ballpark figure, or exactly how many demo units, prototypes do they have, do you reckon?
Ballpark, they have about 30, not including the ones that they were lugging around.
Right. I've been thinking about ways to help them.
Why? Why would you do that, Carl?
They should get Germany to buy out Intellivision.
Germany does not want to buy out anything. Nobody wants to buy out Intellivision. That's the whole point, Carl. If someone wanted to buy out Intellivision, they would have bought out Intellivision. No one wants to buy out Intellivision. So we're going to listen to what these guys have to say about the whole email, and then we're going to tell you why they're wrong.
All right.
And having BBG talk about the fact that they are looking forward to working with this console. They have, on the deal to do 4 more not exclusive games, 4 more games that they will do on the Amico and on other platforms that were not.
Okay, so he said BBG signed an agreement to do 4 more games that were going to be on the Amico and other consoles.
Right.
Except for 100%, that's not what they said. I'm getting up the email right now. And in the email, it says...
Rab legs. Sorry.
It didn't say Rab legs.
I said Rab legs.
What it says is, we signed a licensing deal with BBG Entertainment GmbH, the details of which will be announced later. Here is a quote from Steven Berenstain, managing director. We are very pleased to have licensed 4 Amico games and the original game versions from Intellivision. Let me read that again. We are very pleased to have licensed 4 Amico games and the original game versions from Intellivision. Nowhere in that statement did it say we are pleased to be making 4 new games. So Rab's whole idea of they're making 4 new games, which we're going to go ahead and hear him say again.
Have signed a deal to do 4 more not exclusive games, 4 more games that they will do on the Amico. And
see, they didn't say they're going to make 4 more games on the Amico, and they said they're licensing 4 Amico games and the original versions of said games. This is insane that people who speak English as a first language cannot understand a simple email. It's just 3 dudes that are sick. I'm sorry. I'm a little sick.
No, he's talking about the DJC one.
I know.
Yeah. I think he's throwing a little bit of shade.
We should watch the entire stream. We might watch the entire stream later. But I'm just going over. Why am I subjecting you? It's just a clip. It's just a clip. Don't worry. Speculating on speculation, Tony. I only believe any news when Tommy Tallarico himself says it. Well, Tommy's been pushed out of the company, so he's not saying anything anytime soon. Says Tony, you could probably get a working Amico up and running using your shell, 2 cell phones, and a Raspberry Pi before these clowns get something out the door. Well, like I said, I have the full list of parts. I can make an Amico and put it in my shell. The only thing I don't have is the software, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't actually have an Amico. I would just have a shell filled with Amico parts, and that'd be it.
Just stick a Raspberry Pi in it.
Yeah, but you still wouldn't have the software.
You could just like load up a Intellivision emulator.
But it wouldn't be the Amico software. I wouldn't get the fancy little bubbles like the Amico has.
Yeah, but it'd be better.
We're not talking about better. I didn't say I couldn't make a better one. I said I couldn't make the one that they're making.
True.
Finbar says, no, he understands it fine. He's twisting it big time. So you think that he's willfully lying is what you're saying. You'll need a PCB. Yeah, I know that. I can get that.
You can order like 1 or 2 PCBs from like a place. I know the places where you can order that shit.
Doesn't Tommy still own a majority share? Tommy never owned a majority share. Tommy just owns the biggest share. He's the single biggest shareholder. He owns 28%. But he's never owned 51%. He's never owned a majority. What happened was, again, Tommy bought Keith Robinson's share in Intellivision Amico Holdings. He then created Intellivision Entertainment and brought in the other guys. And then there was a whole convoluted thing with the way it was set up with all the LLCs and everything. What? What are you laughing about?
Sweet Intender's last comment. I don't know if you want to say it.
No. It's bad. Guys, come on.
Sorry.
Let's keep it civil.
And on other platforms that were not the 2 games mentioned, Brain Duel and what was the other one? Dynablaster.
Yes.
The interesting thing there, I think, is if people are saying this is a scam, they're just in it to take the money. They are spending more money at this point.
Again, they're not spending more money because they didn't say they're making 4 new games.
To build more games that they don't have to spend. Like, if it's just a run to get this and try and milk it and they can't get a console out, what is the point of spending more money on additional games?
But they're not. Again, his whole premise is based on him misreading an email or not understanding a simple email.
What is the game plan there to get more funding?
Well, I think it says we were told these games had to be played on Amigo because of the unique controller or the exclusivity of games. Sorry,
Hey, I recognize that, Sweet and Tender Hooligan.
Bit of this.
Yes.
Games go, but now it depends on the games that we're talking about. They haven't been announced, but they're saying some of the a bigger IP and 4 IPs and ones that apparently used to be exclusive, used to be in televisions because they said they're also doing the classic version. So that kind of gives away that it's an Intellivision one. So it's probably ones we haven't seen and they can be played.
Again, that's nothing of what the email said. The email just said, we're pleased to have licensed 4 Amico games and the original version. So it is games you've already seen. The Intellivision had a very limited library, and we've seen a lot of the games that they were bringing out. They're licensed games. They didn't say anything about making new games or making new versions of old games. They just said they licensed 4 games from the Amico.
Played probably anywhere. Now, I will say this, if you didn't say it all while I was watching chat, is anything that it's going to be a released at Amico first, and it will have exclusive content to Amico.
It didn't actually say anywhere in the thing that it was going to be released on the Amico first. In the third point on the email, it says the target for these IPs is simultaneously or later with the Amico release. So simultaneously or later. And that's only the target. That's not the reality. We know how Amico has been really bad with hitting their targets. So the odds are that it's actually going to be released elsewhere first and not on the Amico.
If it goes on a multi-platform, they will have a version of that game, but it won't be with the exclusive content. And
they also didn't say anything about exclusive content.
And it's some complex licensing issue that they have to release the game to get some money. We'll have to get Finbar on the after show to explain it. He's got more insight into that.
Finbar says, this is what always pisses me off about Rab. He's not excited fanboy like GJC. He's clever, and his cleverness is trying to hide the shady shit in television email. Yeah, he tries to explain it away. Look at that face. He's not happy. He's not a happy camper. He knows he's bullshitting. He knows he backed the wrong horse. Yeah. So in the email, it literally says nothing about exclusive content. Following on from where we left off, it says, for the past 3 years, we've been working with Intellivision on the development of our games Dino Blaster and Brain Duel for the Amico. We are excited about Amico and hope that customers will be as well. We are looking forward to offering the 4 licensed Amico games and original Intellivision versions on other platforms soon. Zero about any exclusive content on the Amico. The exclusive content bullshit was always Tommy's talking point as to why, when we seen 2 identical games, the Amico version was quote-unquote exclusive. And in the third point, it says, we have another partnership deal that will ensure that 2 of our most anticipated IPs will be available across multiple platforms as well as Amico. The deals of that relationship will be announced at a later time. The target for these IPs is simultaneously or later with the Amico release. That's it. Nothing about any content being exclusive. None of that.
As far as the timing of release, it would be either at the same time or before on Amico first and then multi. According to how that email is, how I read that email. If I'm wrong, then correct me, but that's the way I look at it.
There you go. Also, like I said, come back, Brittany. Yeah, we need Brittany. Drunk Rab Finbar is the best. I only seen Drunk Rab, once or twice? I think. Not sure. It's hard to tell when those guys are drunk.
He's not that drunk. Rab really isn't that interesting. Not really.
All right. So, an exclusive news. Again, exclusive because we talked to people that work at Intellivision, that worked at Intellivision, and that have had dealings with Intellivision. So one of the ex-engineers talked to somebody that we talked to, and they basically said that they were that Tommy and that Phil and all of them were very good bosses. They were very nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, who actually has a job and who works, whenever you get a nice boss, that means it's a boss that's not paying attention to what you're doing, that's not concerned with how much work you're doing, and that's not pushing you to get shit done. And we know that the Amico is 2 years late. 2 years, right?
Mm.
So if these guys are saying that the bosses were nice, that's fucking ridiculous. Because how can you have a nice boss when your product is 2 years fucking late? Your bosses should be on your ass. They should be sweating. They should be pushing everybody like, come on, guys, we need this shit done. I don't know what the hell's going on. Blah, blah, blah. But if your boss is still cool and being nice and happy and he's not under any pressure, that's very telling. That's not a work environment conducive to getting shit done, right?
Mm.
They're under the gun. They've passed the fucking Rubicon. Shit needs to be out, and they're still just chilling out, having a good time at work, relaxing. Mm-hmm. That tells me that they weren't really looking. They knew they couldn't get shit done, or they needed it to not get done, right?
Yeah, it would seem.
Yeah.
Bob, while he's eating, I'll let you know that Jay Allard was quote unquote frustrated with his time at the Intellivision company. He made several suggestions how to do certain things, and basically the suggestions were just brushed off. Tommy knew better. He says, Jay Eller was mainly involved in the UI stuff and the UX stuff, and basically, they brushed him off. They really didn't want him there to actually contribute to the Amico. They just wanted the Jay Eller name, which is what it seems like.
Remind me, wasn't he the Xbox guy?
Yeah, yes, he was.
Okay.
So there you go. Exclusive information.
Big news.
Are the polls next?
No, not next. Not yet, Carl. We still got one more thing to go over.
All right.
But first, how come the after party is on now? The after party is not on now. Who said anything?
The after party isn't on now.
Tony goose steps his way into work to punch the time clock. No, but what I'm saying is, look, when we got stuff to do, right? My boss isn't like, hey guys, let's have fun at work. No, he's like, hey, we got a fucking deadline. We need this shit done. People got to do overtime. We need this order out. It's a high stress situation because you don't want to fucking lose any of your momentum. Customers. No, not momentum, but customers. We got customers waiting for
right.
Shit. You got to get this shit out, right? And Amico has customers waiting, and they're just like, no rush. Don't worry about it, guys. Relax. Take it easy.
It's sketchy.
So, if your job is not on your ass to get things done while you're 2 years late, I think that's a problem. Maybe Tommy them being nice is fucking great, but it doesn't get a product done, right? It doesn't get shit fucking moving. And as we can see, we have no release date still for a product that was supposed to be released 10/10/2020. 1 inch says, I figured that one would get a bigger pop out of Carl.
What?
Remember when Brad popped off on Retrobo about money? That was my favorite.
Oh. No, I mean, it's just Rab was never that interesting. I'm not insulting anyone. But my observation, he was kind of the most uninteresting person there.
All right, we got one more bit of news. DC Fandome was canceled this year, gentlemen.
Womp womp.
Are you heartbroken?
Very.
No.
All right, so this comes from Popverse. It's official. DC Fandome 2022 is not happening. The virtual DC-only event will not take place this year as the company concentrates on in-person events run by others. DC Fandome, Warner Brothers' virtual fan event for DC Comics and various film, TV, and game adaptations launched in 2020 as an online alternative to convention appearances. Will not be returning this year, Popverse can confirm. Speculation about the event has been growing for the past couple of months, fueled by a lack of announcement from DC or Warner Brothers Discovery. Previously, the event had been announced months in advance, with 2021's DC Fandome revealed 6 months ahead of time, as well as mass return to in-person events across the board, with conventions like Comic-Con International San Diego, C2E2, and Emerald City Comic-Con offering their largest shows since before the COVID pandemic began over the past few months. So far in 2022, DC as a company has already attended San Diego Comic-Con with a series of panels for publishing, TV, movie, and gaming projects, as well as exclusive merchandise available to attendees of those panels, with DC talent appearing at other conventions independently. DC is also expected to present panels at New York Comic-Con next month. DC released a statement to Popverse reading, with the return of in-person events, Warner Brothers Discovery is excited to be able to engage with our fans live at numerous Comic-Cons around the world. We will not be scheduling DC Fandome for 2022. An additional factor adding to the curiosity surrounding DC Fandome is the current contraction of DC's parent company, Warner Brothers, Discovery, which in recent weeks laid off 14% of its staff of HBO Max. Notably, however, Warner Bros. Discovery chief David Zaslav is on record saying that DC is the top of the list for Warner Bros. Discovery in terms of priorities. And it's believed that the decision to forego DC Fandome this year is unrelated to any budgetary concerns. DC Fandome launched in August 2020 as an immersive virtual fan experience with exclusive content broadcast online for a 24-hour window, with a follow-up event that following month. The 2020 event was viewed by more than 22 million people globally across the day-long stream. In April 2021, it was announced that a second Fandome would take place in October that year, broadcast across a number of different platforms, including YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and featuring early looks at projects including HBO Max's Peacemaker and the upcoming big screen Black Adam. There was a lot of people that were trying to say that DC Fandome 2022 was going to bring back the Snyderverse, and it was going to restore things. Henry Cavill was going to be announced as coming back as Superman. All kind of other crazy conspiracy theories. But of course, none of that's happening because Fandome is canceled. Warner Brothers Discovery supposedly only has enough money to release 2 movies this year, one of those being Black Adam, and the other being that gangster movie that's coming out. So there you have it. Just that little bit of sad news for any DC fans out there. No Fandome, not happening. I know we're all disappointed.
Yay! I'm enthused.
Whoa. Metroid cosplay? Who's doing Metroid cosplay? One Inch Bicep says, if you have to go on a cruise with Rab or Miss Decade, who would you go with, Carl?
Oh, it's got to be a Lady Decade. I might at least have a shot at nailing her, but there's no way in hell I'm nailing.
I think you'd have a better shot at nailing Rab than at
There's
nailing.
no way in hell I'm nailing Rap. Besides, he's got kids and a wife, so.
What does that have to do with whether or not you'd have a better shot? That was the question.
I don't know. I just couldn't nail him. I'm a guy for one thing, and he's a guy, so there's that.
No, Carl, no one said if you would. I said you would have a better shot.
I don't care if I have a better shot.
There's a difference, see?
Besides, while I'm on the cruise, I have buffets of food, entertainment. So even if I don't score with Lady Decade, I have other things to amuse myself.
She got kids and a husband, Carl. You can't score with Lady Decade either.
Yeah, but, you know, at that point, I'd just be going for the food.
All right. So, last thing we got to go over tonight before we hit the after show is our fan polls, because we love asking the fans questions. We love hearing what you got to say about it.
And the fans like answering, so. Yeah.
I'm not sure if they do. This is the wrong page. Damn it.
Zab nabbit.
That's what we got to share. All right. So these are the polls. The first poll that we asked, with 203 votes, are you tired of hearing about the Intellivision Miko yet?
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close. It's 3 choices: yes, no, and no care either way. 12% said they didn't care either way. They're just here for the ride. 42% said no. And at a whopping 46%, you said yes. You're tired of hearing about the Intellivision Miko. 46% would be about 92 votes.
Thank you guys so much for saying yes, you're tired of it.
Unfortunately, we will still be talking about it as long as there's things to talk about.
Yes, I know.
And of course, if you missed it, go check out Monday Night Grift, because once again, I was on the panel.
And Tony TGD is the bestest person in the universe.
I am, Carl. Don't say it like that, because I am. All right. So on Monday Night Grift, I was actually suggested that we need to be on TikTok and Instagram. So I asked you guys, what do you think? Should we do TikTok only, do Instagram only, do both, or do neither? 75 votes. 9% said do TikTok only. 3% said do Instagram only. 19% said do both. And a whopping 69% said do neither. Well, it looks like the fans have spoken, Carl.
Yeah. I'll be honest. TikTok has been giving me problems or something. I don't know what it is. It's weird. All I know is when I uninstalled it, my phone started running better again. So
Finbar says this poll was review bombed.
I think it was.
Justin, our viewer, says if Tony kicks out people under 20, then it's overwhelmingly more Amico talk. No, I think the kids want the Amico talk, not the adults. You guys are sick of it. The kids haven't heard. Let Carl run your TikTok.
yeah, that's. I mean, you give me the videos, I'll upload them.
It's a Chinese app. That's what I said. When it was suggested to me to do TikTok, I said, oh, the Chinese spy app. And I was told there's actually a Chinese TikTok and an American TikTok. And that the American TikTok is the spyware.
Yeah.
So. But the fans say do neither. I guess we'll circle back in a couple of months and see if you guys have changed your mind on this. Okay, it says, quick question. Should you play and review games you have no interest in? 58 votes. Yes, you should give the game a chance to impress you. 57% of you said. And 43% said no, you'll probably have a bad experience. How do you guys feel about this?
Yeah. I'm flexible either way.
What about you, Bob? What do you think?
I think as a reviewer, you've got to be open to like reviewing as much as possible. But like, I think there is a limit, but I'd still say yes.
I myself think that it's good to play games. And it's actually really good to get opinions from people that might not have an interest in the game. Because I don't like sports games, right?
Yeah.
So if someone else doesn't like sports games and they review it, I would get a review closer to my own opinion. And
That's
like,
it's an interesting point of view.
You know, that person might say, hey, I also don't like sports games, but I did kind of like this one. It was fun. It wasn't too involved. It wasn't much of a simulation. It was more arcadey. So if you don't like sports games like me, you might like it. And that's, you know what? That's a good point. Maybe I would like this version of baseball or football.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I think it is actually very helpful, but I think you should actually acknowledge it, right? I don't like farming sims. I don't like RPGs or whatever. In the review somewhere so that the person has an idea where you're coming from in your review.
Yeah.
Also, in case you missed it, we did talk about the racist DC comic cover. Trinity Trigger was announced. That game looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think this is censorship, even though it is self-censorship. The developer changed some of the in-game assets to be a little less sexy for Cat Maze, which is funny because, hold on, it's funny because the whole reason that I looked at Cat Maze is because I got a review code for it. And so I started looking up the game and trying to get assets and stuff. So to have my review nice and looking up old press releases, and it turns out, the game is from 2018. So then I was like, let me see what the press release was like for 2018. And then I started seeing the assets, and I was like, these assets are different. And that's what tumbled me down the rabbit hole. Doing due diligence made me discover that the game was actually changed.
I mean, games have been censored before for one reason or another. For example, laws in Germany forced a game on the PS Vita to change to be less violent or something to that effect.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not exactly anything new. Or another example,
Carl, no one said it's new. Did I say anywhere that this is a new phenomenon?
I'm just mean it's it's nothing we should be surprised about. Is all I'm saying.
Did I say anywhere that you should be surprised by this? I simply pointed out the fact of this game was censored, and if you are against censorship in any form, then you might want to avoid this game. If you don't care that the game is censored, then you don't have no problem about it. Right?
Mhm.
I just pointed something out. It was not a commentary on anything other than the fact that this is a fact that happened.
Mhm.
All right. With that said, we're going to go ahead and end this show. I think it's good. Bob was a little distracted. I think he's been texting that girl, please.
No,
take me back.
I haven't. Sorry, my timing's been a bit off. I don't know what's up.
So we're all going to get re-energized, and we're going to come back stronger than ever. As soon as I pull up the link. Anything else you want to say, Bob, before we get out of here?
Not really.
What about you, Kyle?
Remember, your likes bring Bob one step closer to his relationship.
Ooh. You gonna let him get away with that, Bob?
Deep cuts.
All right. Tony just wants to see my OnlyFans for free. No, I don't. I keep telling you, I want the money you owe me. I don't want the OnlyFans. So there's the link to the after party. We're going to be heading on over there in just a minute. Love, peace, booty grease. We out this bitch.